Welcome to the episode 11 Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, I'm going to be breaking down episodes 1 through 3 of the Prime Video reality series, The GOAT. The series is filled with drama, fun, and chaos. Now, listen, if you're watching here on YouTube, thank you guys so much. I will be having my interviews with the entire cast of The GOAT coming next week. I got interviews dropping Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. If you're listening right here on the Love and Reality Podcast on podcast platforms, at the end of this episode, I will drop my interviews with Joey Sasso and Lauren Speed Hamilton, who talk about their time on the show. It was fantastic to be able to catch up with this cast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again, like I said. But this is going to be a fun season of the show, and I think everybody's really going to like it. So what is the GOAT? 14 reality superstars move into the GOAT Manor to face off in a brand new hilarious competition show hosted by Daniel Tosh. They will compete in over 20 challenges, earning and breaking one another's trust as they battle it out for $200,000 and the title of the greatest of all time. The first 3 episodes dropped on May the 9th, and they will shift to a weekly format after that. And I will be tuning you to make sure to tune in here. I will be recapping each and every single episode right here on the Love and Reality Podcast. The show drops on Thursdays. Podcast will drop on Mondays if you're listening on podcast platforms. YouTube, I will be dropping the video recap of the each and every episode the day of release. All right, folks, without further ado, let's talk a little bit about the cast, right? Taisha Adams from the Bachelor franchise, Joe and Bell from the Bachelor franchise and Dancing with the Stars, Kristen Doty from Vanderpump Rules and The Valley, Reza Farhan from Shaz of Sunset, CJ Franco from Fuckboy Island, Wendell Howard from Survivor, Tech Holmes from The Real World and The Challenge, Justin Johnson, aka Alyssa Edwards from RuPaul's Drag Race, Polio Mayfield from 90 Day Fiance, Devon Rogers from Big Brother and The Challenge, Joey Sasso, my boy Joey Sasso from The Circle and Perfect Match, Jason Smith from Holiday Baking Championship, Lauren Speed Hamilton from Love is Blind, and Jill Zarin from The Real Housewives of New York City. All right, folks, this episode was action-packed. Obviously, the first episode is the getting the lay of the ground. You know what I mean? It's people bonding with one another, seeing who they like, who they don't like. You know what I mean? Maybe laying some groundwork for some early alliances and stuff like that. And then, of course, Daniel Tosh arrives, and I can't underestimate how funny Daniel Tosh is in throughout this entirety of this show. But each episode, they will compete in a challenge. The winner of the challenge will become the GOAT, and they are safe from elimination. Then they compete in a second competition. The losing team has to face being eliminated from the show. Someone will get sent home. All right. So the first competition is Celebration of Survivor shows. Um, you have to stand on a pole on one leg with a coconut in their hand. The last person standing wins immunity. All right, so this was hilarious. There's some people like Tech, he was gone. Let's see, you got Jill, who's pretty fast to go. Joey Sasso blamed his uneven ass cheek for why he fell. I should have asked him about his uneven ass cheek on the interview that I did with him. He falls down. Lauren was hanging on for dear life and then was gone. And then Wendell just decides that he said it's too early in the show to really show his predominance or dominance in the show, so he throws a competition. Justin and Taisha are the final two, and then Joey is giving hilarious commentary. Like, I plead with anybody, give Joey Sasso a hosting gig. This man is brilliant. Taisha is our first winner, a little over 22 minutes of standing on this like wooden like tree trunk style thing. Very impressive win. And then as we go inside, we start seeing people make alliances. We got the Bravo Alliance with Kristen, Reza, and Jill. And then we got Lauren, Joey, and CJ making alliance. We got Team Netflix with, Fuckboy Island. And then we have a competition. It's Aisha picks Justin, Tech, CJ, Joe, Devon, and Reza taking on Joey, Lauren, Kristen, Wendell, Paulo, Jason, and Jill. Um, they have 20 minutes to build a boat, and half the team has to be on the boat to get across to get the key and come back and get the booty. All right, so this is where things get really interesting in this first episode. Um, the you had one team, Devon and Jill were talking shop. Boat building is over. Orange Tane made a decoy boat, which was kind of hilarious. Kristen, Wendell, and Joey go headfirst into the water. I mean, we all like love watching reality TV, but seeing some of these people like I don't know, it's not even like make asses of themselves. It's just them doing stupid stuff for competition purposes. It was hilarious. The orange team was the first team to make it across. However, Tosh announced that the orange team had been disqualified from the competition because of the raft that they made, meaning the purple team had won. So we went from Joey, Lauren, Kristen, Wendell, Paulo, Jason, and Jill being safe to now being on the chopping block. And the first person to go home was a battle between two individuals. One was we had Jason versus this was a Jason versus Joey battle. 7 votes for Joey, 7 votes for Jason. This deciding vote. If it becomes a tie, the GOAT has the responsibility of picking the person that they will choose to eliminate from the household. And Taisha picks Joey to leave. Taisha said she voted for Jason and Thing, but switched to Joey for competition purposes. My poor guy Joey, man, eliminated so fast. I was really hoping we would get a long running, run with Joey. He's hilarious, good TV. Sad to see my boy go. We transitioned into episode 2. Paulo recruits the ladies to form an alliance to pick the guys out one by one. Devon understands that her time in Big Brother, that girls' alliance end up falling on their face, but this is a game. Strategy is the name of the game to keep yourself in it. Now, we have our second competition in episode 2. Next competition is in the Bravo world. Drag Me Through the Mud. Basically, tune in the tune of the Bravo folks dragging one another. It's trivia time. If they know the answer, they can guess it. However, if they don't, they will have to crawl through mud underneath these beams, get to the other side. They have 3 answers to choose from. They come back through the mud again and give the answer. If they get the answer right, they stay in the game. If not, they are eliminated. The last person standing wins the challenge and, of course, immunity, and then, of course, picks the teams for the elimination game. The first question of the game was, what was the name of the Cubs stadium? Obviously, it's Wrigley Field, and everyone is so confused. Reza, Paulo, and Wendell were eliminated after round 1 with getting that answer wrong. Let's see here. Number 2. Second question is, former Big Brother Frankie Grande, who's related to Ariana Grande, who collabed with Ariana Grande on Rain on Me. Lady Gaga was the right answer. Jill and Tech got it wrong. Whew. All right, number 3. Third question was, which movie star showed off his hip thrusting moves in the movies? Everyone guessed either Travolta or Swayze. Travolta was the right answer. Joe, Justin, Lauren were all eliminated here. Fourth question. There's 5 people remaining. How many teeth are in the average full adult set? 28, 30, or 32 are the options. Taisha was eliminated here. And then the 5th question. This is where things get really, really, really funny. Okay. How many pawns are in a full game of chess? Kristen didn't even try here. She didn't want to go back through the mud. She just guessed it wrong. And then we see CJ, who I think people were underestimating early in this competition, wins the second competition. So, she, of course, gets pick the other teams in this competition. So CJ picks Paulo, Justin, Day, Divine, Joe, and Tasha. She clunked kind of the Bravo people together. Since the teams are uneven, she picks Kristen to sit out the competition. But Kristen has to tie her fate to one of the teams. So she picked Team Bravo. If they win, she is safe. If they lose, she is unsafe. This is one cool thing that I liked about this is because sometimes you have the odd man out and it's just like, oh, well, odd person's out. Maybe they're safe. No, you have to tie yourself to a team. And if that team loses, you're running the risk of being eliminated. Oh, look, that person wasn't even out here. That person didn't even help us. We're going to throw y'all out the door. But the next competition is a Bravo themed relay race. The Real Housewives themed table flip first is phase one. Phase two is the Vanderpump Rules bussier toss. And then, of course, the below deck toss two life savers onto a float buoy. Buoy? Is it buoy? Buoy. Buoy. The table flip challenge was hilarious. Like these people did this for like 20 fucking minutes. It was funny, and even funnier. I couldn't stop laughing at this entire scene. Team Bravo ends up winning, meaning Paulo, Justin, Divine, Joy, and Taisha are up for elimination. All right. Did I miss somebody? Oh, yeah, Taisha. Yeah, okay. Got it right. Boom, 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 boom. Sorry, guys. All right, moving right along. Obviously, it came down. Taisha let Joe know about the Girls Alliance. So, obviously, Taisha had an issue with how things were unfolding. She was strong with Joe. She was like, I like to be close to Joe. Joe's my friend. I can't backstab Joe. So she tells Joe about the Girl Alliance. The girls end up being like, no, that's not cool. You don't go around telling people about our alliances. And in return, Joe is going to be eliminated. Joe. Joe was going to be eliminated. Joe was out the door. Joe was gone. Good as gone. Instead, we see Taisha get eliminated from the show. Her time on the show has come to an end. What a quick turnaround, obviously, there. All because she told Joe about the alliance. The girls quickly break the girls' alliance to get rid of a girl. Shocker. You would think Devon knew something about this, because considering she said that she knows that every girl competition team is going to be every girl alliance ends up being a disaster, and that's exactly what this was, a A+1 disaster. All right, that being said, all right, so episode three here. Episode one had elimination of Joey Sasho. Episode two had elimination of Taisha Adams. And now, of course, we have the Untalented Talent Show. When I tell you, this was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. I really, really mean it. All right, each person will pick a set up and have an hour to perform it. Joe gets the 80s aerobics. Tech got baton twirling. Reza got limbo. Justin/Alyssa got poetry. Kristen got cake decorating. Paulo got animal imitations. Lauren got balloon. Animal Jason got singing Star Spangled Banner. Jill got breakdancing. Wendell got stand-up comedy. CJ Franco got Shakespeare. And Devon got juggling. Now, I want everybody here, if you're watching this right now, listening to this at home, who did you think was going to win this? Because it's definitely like you lean one way, who should have won? But you can't get mad about how everything unfolded. We have special guest William Hung. I completely forgot about this guy, and he was funny on American Idol, kind of rose to the top with the cream of the crop, and he's really funny. Like, this is the perfect guy to have on this type of show. However, here it goes. The housemates will be the real judges. Each person has 11 cards. You have 11 cards ranked 1 through 11. The highest score at the end of the day gets immunity. Okay? I like it. I like where we're going here. This is going to be fantastic. We're cooking here, right? However, this is where things get interesting, because you only have one of each card. So you have to give somebody a 1. That's the only time you can give them 1. If you give somebody a perfect score of 11, that's the only time that you have that 11. So it goes throughout. Joe's 80 aerobics was hilarious. Joe, like, this is the most, like, he is very much, every time you look at him, he doesn't feel like he's part of the show. And it's funny because you're watching him like be on the show, and he's not really about it. You know what I mean? He's not really about these competitions. You kind of see him lackadaisical. You even heard early on, like, people were saying, like, does Joe even want to be here? Like, why? That was even the talks of why they were going to eliminate him in episode 2, is because it just seemed like he just nonchalantly didn't want to be there. But his 80s aerobics were hilarious. He got a 37. Devon performs, and it was a fucking knockdown drag out. One of the funniest things I ever seen in my entire life. She was juggling. It was just this terrifying moment. She got 87 points. Justin did her dressed up as Alyssa to do her poetry and nailed 80 points. Wendell did stand up, which was pretty brutal. Jill's breakdancing was classic. You ever want to see an older woman do breakdancing? This was your time. Reza limboed his way to shake some ass to try to get to become the GOAT. But as we start to see here, this is where the game playing really kicks into high gear. Divine, throughout this entire competition, wisely started giving low scores to certain people so that she would end up on top. She ends up winning 87 to 85 over Reza. And this is where everybody gets in a tizzy. Now, this is where I get a little bit frustrated. Everyone gets in a tizzy because Divine was trying to win the competition. Now some of these people, 100K might not be anything to them. $100,000 is a lot of people to some people. So everyone gets mad at Divine because she purposely swung the competition in favor so that she won. And everybody was ranting and raving and yelling and screaming and all of these things at her. But it's a game. $100,000 at stake. I would want to win too. It's a game. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's competition. We're playing for a prize. We ain't playing for, if we're playing for a pack of 12, 12 pack and a smack on the butt, sure, maybe we don't play so aggressively. But all right, the next competition is where I see one of the most creative, most unique, wild things. It was something that I had to talk about with the cast over the next couple of weeks. You'll be hearing those cast interviews as we talk about this. But Divine decides that she's going to throw the competition to get rid of Justin. The reason she wants to do is because Justin was one of the big proponents in giving her shit about post untalented talent show. Definitely crazy here. She decides to recruit Paulo to throw the game. Devon picks Paulo, Jill, Lauren, CJ, and Justin on her team. CJ and Lauren are in on her game plan, and they're in on her game plan. So CJ and Lauren aren't on the game plan to get rid of Justin, so they don't really know about it. So she has to be cautious of things because obviously, if they win, then her plan doesn't really go to fruition. However, we have our first competition. Basically, they have to do a bunch of going through a bunch of hoops, spinning around in a circle a bunch of times, and then once they do that, they have to weave in and out of things, and then they bob and then they have to jump through tires, and then they have to do a pose at the end of the race. So the first person between the two people that get there win the competition. Obviously, Joe versus Justin. This was hilarious. Justin ended up winning here. Very, 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 very funny. And then Tech found a loophole to try to win the competition and was disqualified, letting CJ end up winning. So this was already 2 for Team Devon and 0 for the other team. Wasn't going as well. Lauren. Jason trips and falls, and Lauren wins. Devon is struggling with her team consistently winning. They're up 3-0 now. But Paulo versus Wendell, and Paulo does a good job of throwing it. People were questioning what's going on, but it's Paulo. They were like, whatever. CJ is starting to see what is she's starting to think of is this competition being thrown right now? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Jill versus Reza. Jill is having to throw this and isn't thrilled, but she knows she has the plan. Reza wins with Jill still throwing it. Devon versus Kristen. You have to, if you're going to throw a competition, you have to do it in a way that's not so freaking obvious, Devon. Day was just out here throwing this shit, and then Kristen ended up winning, obviously, the orange team ends up winning. Obviously, since Devon is the GOAT right now, she is not facing elimination. Jill, Paulo, Lauren, CJ, or Justin will be leaving the show. Day believes that everyone believed the show she put on. The gays and Wendell are on a team, so Reza isn't wanting to throw Justin out. Wendell is trying to talk to Devon. Wendell wants to possibly throw up Lauren. Wendell pitches Reza, Jason, and others to vote for Lauren to split the vote. His last-ditch effort is to go after CJ to vote her. Now, obviously, the girls have the vote. But if they have a chance to swing just one of the women, then they have the opportunity to make it I think it's like 6-5 vote instead of a 6-5 vote. Girls favor, CJ would vote for Lauren, and Lauren would be out instead of Justin. So our third ultimation. I didn't realize Daniel was just reading off. So there's a moment. Obviously, Daniel picks up a piece of paper and he reads off of it. And I thought he was reading votes. And this was, I think, the first time that I saw it, unless I missed it the first time. He's reading off nothing. So I guess he's going off of memory of how many people, because he's like, Lauren, 1 vote. Justin, 1 vote. And on this piece of paper is nothing. It's literally nothing. So I guess he might have just have it memorized what the votes are. And Justin is up to 5 votes. And then Lauren starts to hear her name one by one by one by one by one by one by one. It's 5-5 with the final vote going to Lauren. And Lauren is eliminated. This one makes me so sad. I love Lauren quite a bit. Everyone is on the floor. Kristen's not happy, nor is Paulo. Lauren calls out a snitch. She said they should have vote out Devon next time. They have a chance, but she says it was the boys and CJ. Justin calls out Devon for throwing the competition. He gets a nasty with Kristen saying something about she doesn't love anyone but the bottle. That was ruthless. Ruthless. Kristen kind of gives it back to him. Yeah, that was a low blow. And Justin, you'll see it in episode 4. Can't really dive into it because I've already seen it, but I don't want to talk too in depth about it. I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, it was a low blow, and he knew it was a low blow. Justin is threatening to quit. Kristen is threatening to quit as well. Everyone is at a loss for words. Everyone knows that it was CJ. Justin is trying to leave, and CJ is explaining that she voted out Lauren to gain the numbers. Stop trying to run away. I didn't sacrifice myself to these ladies for you to run out the back door. So definitely interesting first 3 episodes. I would love to hear your comments. Obviously, our first 3 people eliminated: Joey Sasso, Taisha Williams, and Lauren Speed Hamilton. R.I.P. Netflix. Netflix is at a loss for competitors in the show now, which is kind of funny to think about. But folks, if you're listening here on the podcast platform, thank you for making it this far. At the end of this episode, remember, you will hear from 2 of our eliminated contestants on the GOAT, and that is Lauren Speed Hamilton and Joey Sasso. Do you want to listen to that interview? It was fun. We got insightful about their eliminations. We talked about Joey and his team being disqualified. We talked about Lauren realizing that she was going to be the one eliminated. So much fun. If you're watching here on YouTube, those interviews will be up next week. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Love and Reality Podcast. I'll talk to you guys next week.